Hello there. Today I watched the newest animated film from DC, Justice League Crisis on Infinite Earths, and now I want to tell you about it. It's an action thriller with heavy science fiction and romance elements to it. The story was written by George Perez and Marv Wolfman and adapted into a screenplay by James Krieg. The film was directed by Jeff Wamster and stars Matt Bomer as the Flash, Ashley Lathrop as Iris West, and Nolan North as Amazo. They're accompanied by an ensemble cast of famous faces voicing bit parts. As a heads up, this film takes place in the DC animated universe and relies heavily on the lore there. The events of this film take place after the events of Justice League Dark Apocalypse and continue the Flashpoint storyline. The story itself is a jumbled mess in which Barry the Flash Allen is unglued from his timeline and finds himself teleporting at random between multiple timelines. In each one, he finds a new situation to deal with and a new group of people to help him. There are 4 different timelines, each complete with its own set of characters and unique backstory. The film starts with 3 timelines and introduces the 4th later on. In one storyline, Barry and Iris are dating and we watch them meet at different points in their life. In another, Barry helps the Justice League take on a new robotic threat that can drain their powers and use them. In the third, Barry sees a world ruled by the evil version of the Justice League. He navigates the different timelines, trying to make sense of them and their connection to one another. Eventually, a new catalyst arrives and takes him to a 4th storyline that ties all the others together. In this new storyline, Barry and a team of heroes recruited from across the multiverse attempt to stop a catastrophic wave that threatens to wipe out everything in existence. The cast is ginormous and features too many people to keep track of all the performances. There are heroes from Barry's timeline, heroes and villains from alternate timelines, characters from the future, the past, and from outside the timeline. For important characters, you have Barry Allen, Iris West, the mysterious old man, and Amazo. Barry Allen is a speedster who can run really fast. He runs so fast he can time travel as well as move between the universes. He's a hero who wants to save everyone and who sees the good in others. Iris West is his reporter wife. She's intelligent and hardworking and does her best to keep up with Barry no matter where he goes. Amazo is a robot created by Professor Ivo. He was created to save life but has been altered by Lex Luthor. Last but not least is the mysterious old man. He appears at random to send Barry off to a new timeline and warn him of impending doom. He uses magic to control and confront others and looks and sounds a lot like John Constantine. The visual journey is a standard animated adventure that follows Barry on his quest. He spends time in each of the timelines, fighting crime, dating Iris, and trying to figure out who the mysterious old man is and why he keeps teleporting him around. There is a lot of power usage throughout the film from a plethora of characters, a couple of big fights between the Justice League and Amazo, and an attempt to stop a natural disaster from occurring. Sound-wise, the film uses instrumental tracks to support the emotional journey. It's quiet and doesn't appear all that often. The tracks sound like generic fantasy adventure music that is good for supporting happy and sad moments. Outside of that, they don't use any music and rely on the actors' performances and sound effects to carry the story. Okay, so how did they do? The writing is all over the place. The idea of using multiple storylines to teach Barry a lesson was an interesting concept, and there are golden moments within it, but the overall experience feels scattered and confusing. It's hard to get invested in anything when you can't keep the story straight, and they're constantly introducing new elements. They also introduced characters who could straight up end the story as their godlike characters and didn't give them a reason not to get involved. The cast does what they can with the material, and no one stands out as wooden or feels out of place. The general cast does a good job with the humor and emotion, and Matt Bomer, Nolan North, and Ashley Lathrop all do a fantastic job with their characters' emotional journeys. Matt Bomer's Barry Allen is a confident man who likes to joke around a lot. Bomer plays him honestly and kindly with a little bit of stoicism underneath. When he's asked to go through some deep emotions, he does it in a complex way and shows off a great range. Ashley Lathrop as Iris West is his counterpart in the romance storyline and does a great job of matching Bomer's energy and creating a cool and collected character. Iris constantly seems like the rock in Barry's life and she adds a lot of warmth to the film. Nolan North turns Amazo from a heartless robot into a true character with just a few simple words. His performance is both moving emotionally and at times a real spectacle. He gets some of the best lines in the film and knocks them out of the park. Visually, the film makes sense all the way through and has a few standout moments. The animated style works well for the superhero action and all of the special effects, and they create several cool locations for the characters to interact in. That said, the action doesn't have a lot of big moments from an aesthetic perspective. The fights have a lot of meaning behind them, but they don't look all that special. You won't remember any of them after a day or two. Sound-wise, the music they use is effective at supporting the emotional journey during key moments, but doesn't do much for the rest of the film. The music they use also isn't that memorable. They're pretty generic sounding orchestral tracks that play quietly in the background and add a little bit of emotion. The entire film feels like a missed opportunity. They could have added a ton of flavor to the different universes and set them apart from one another using the soundtrack. Overall, Justice League Crisis on Infinite Earths is a story that you can enjoy if you have done all the required watching. The story doesn't quite make sense at different points and you'll have to ignore certain elements, but there is a good bit of heart and some decent action. If you like superhero stories and don't mind how ridiculous they can get, try this out when you're bored. As for a rating, I'd give this film a 6 out of 10. Remember, these are just my thoughts on the film. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Bye-bye!